Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today's record is the immortal classic Love Supreme by John Coltrane. Now recently, Jeff Party had done a video, Give Me 10 Jazz Albums, and he left an album like this off, and I did too, but I do want to talk about it for a second, and I thought this was a great opportunity. This album came out in January of 1965 on the Impulse label, and John Coltrane was a jazz saxophonist. I'm going to show you guys the inner here in his epic poem, Dear Listener, All Praise Be to God Whom All Praise is Due. This album, and of course it has the poem he wrote, A Love Supreme. This is a reissue. It's not an original, unfortunately, but just to have a copy. I heard this album first when I was in college, and I was a music major. And I tell people this, and maybe it's a little bit hyperbole, but I still hold it true. This is one of the few albums I listened to, and I say that I walked funny for a week after I heard it. It really was one of those mind-blowing records that sort of, you hear about the heavens parting and the light shining away. The raw emotion and spirituality of this album just reached way deep within me, and I think I heard this at just a very perfect time. And so there's a reason why this album has endured as a jazz classic. Now it features the John Coltrane Quartet. Of course, John plays tenor sax on the entire album. McCoy Tyner on piano, Jimmy Garrison on bass, and Elvin Jones playing drums. It was recorded in one session on December 9th, 1964 at the Van Gelder Studio in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. It came out on Impulse in January, and it was immediately a hit, and it became probably his most acclaimed recording. Now, A Love Supreme, it's a four-part suite. It's there's four tracks here. Acknowledgement. And Acknowledgement's the opening track. It opens with a gong, and it repeats the sort of mantra that where you can hear A Love Supreme over and over and over again. Resolution, Pursuance, and Psalm. And so the album really follows this story. It makes a statement, and the titles really are Resolution, Pursuance, and Psalm. So it ends on this sort of somber note. And so there's this struggle going on within the album, and it expresses this sort of pure love that John is expressing to a higher power, and so it's a deep album. Like I said, Coltrane plays tenor all throughout the album, and I know a lot of people are fans of his soprano playing and whatnot. And this album went on to become one of the most acclaimed jazz albums ever. It's widely regarded as John Coltrane's masterpiece and his greatest work, and just it's gone beyond the borders of just jazz music. I think fans of music have gravitated toward this album, and it's one of those that has reached deep with a lot of people. As a matter of fact, the Penguin Guide to Jazz, Richard Cook and Brian Morton, they gave this album the rare Crown rating. And it's sort of gone through like a lot of the acclaimed albums or a lot of greatest albums. People have also talked about how it's probably overrated. Some people have torn it down. Even Miles Davis kind of commented, gave kind of a snide remark that, well, this album appealed to hippies and people like that. But, he just, he wasn't blown away by it. But I think you'd be hard-pressed if you're a fan of just pure music and just the expression of that. I think this album really, for four guys doing it, it does reach very, very deep and expresses that sort of feeling. And so you can't really describe it. It's just a listening experience. It envelops you. And, I think the spirituality is just the full thing. So imagine, 30 or 40 minutes of a guy in complete praise. It's amazing. And I think this kind of followed a hard time in Coltrane's life. I think, the addictions and everything. Check out the movie Chasing Train if you've not seen it to get a little more information about John Coltrane. And just the guy was a very deep thinker, and he was kind of on a different plane from normal players and musicians, and so he was reaching deep. But today's daily record, "A Love Supreme" by John Coltrane. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. Like, subscribe, comment, share, interact. Tell me what you think about this album. And check out my other channel, my regular channel, Tommy Burton's VC channel. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily record.